January 23rd, 2025. A signature that shook the world. In Washington, they called it innovation. They called it the strategic Bitcoin reserve. CNN ran headlines about crypto adoption. Wall Street algorithms bought billions in seconds, sending the price of Bitcoin smashing through $100,000. The narrative was simple. America is embracing the future. But 7,000 miles away, in the halls of Zhongnanhai, the narrative was very different. This wasn't seen as domestic policy. It wasn't seen as a tech upgrade. To the 7 men of the Politburo Standing Committee, the absolute rulers of 1.4 billion people, this was an act of aggression. For 75 years, the United States has held a weapon more powerful than any nuclear arsenal: the US dollar. If you want to buy oil, dollars. If you want to trade globally, dollars. If you cross Washington, they turn off your money. Just ask Russia. Just ask Iran. This is exorbitant privilege, and China has spent 2 decades trying to build a shield against it. They failed. Until now. Because Trump's order revealed the new battlefield. America isn't just printing dollars anymore. They are attempting to corner the market on the only neutral asset in existence: Bitcoin. Beijing realized the threat immediately. If America controls the majority of Bitcoin, the escape hatch from the dollar system is welded shut. So, within 72 hours of Trump's signature, an emergency directive went out from Beijing. They didn't announce it on CCTV. They didn't hold a press conference. This is a silent mobilization, an economic war fought in the shadows. And China's response is nuclear. They are preparing to do what they do best: outproduce, outmanufacture, and outspend their rival. In this video, we are going deep. We will expose the 3 fronts of China's secret counteroffensive. We will break down the mechanics of the Bitcoin-backed yuan, and we will map out the terrifying timeline of the next 3 years. Because while you are watching the price charts, the superpowers are playing for the future of money itself. To understand the first front of this war, we have to go back to the lie of 2021. China banned Bitcoin mining. The world believed it. The global hash rate in China dropped from 75% to near zero overnight. Miners fled to Texas, to Kazakhstan. The media moved on. But here's the truth. The ban was never total. It was a purge of the private sector. The Communist Party didn't want random citizens getting rich and moving money offshore. They wanted the monopoly. Intelligence reports and on-chain data confirm that state-linked entities, power companies, military-adjacent tech firms, never unplugged their machines. They just went dark, hiding behind VPNs and proxy pools. But now, post-Trump's order, the gloves are off. The dark mining is becoming state mining. Think about the logistics. China generates 28,000 terawatt-hours of electricity a year, more than the US and India combined. A huge portion of this is stranded power. Hydroelectricity in the mountains of Sichuan, or coal power in the deserts of Xinjiang that is physically wasted because it can't be transmitted to the cities efficiently. This is China's greatest weapon: free energy. Provincial governments have received quiet directives. Monetize the waste. They are turning useless excess joules into the hardest money on Earth. By our estimates, China is targeting 20 to 30% of the global hash rate by 2026. That's 140 new Bitcoin mined every single day. 50,000 Bitcoin a year. Cost to the state? Near zero. While American miners in Texas are struggling with grid balancing and paying commercial rates, Chinese state facilities are mining at cost. This isn't a fair market competition. It is an industrial slaughter. China is building a great wall of hash rate, And the goal isn't profit, it's security. It ensures that no matter what the U.S. does, China processes the blocks. China secures the network. China cannot be censored. But mining takes time. And China needs Bitcoin now. This brings us to the second front, the stealth accumulation. China sits on $3.2 trillion of foreign reserves. Most of it is in U.S. treasuries, debt that America is inflating away. Beijing wants to dump these treasuries, but they can't buy Bitcoin openly. If the People's Bank of China announced a Bitcoin buy program, the price would hit $1 million tomorrow. They would be front-run by the entire world. So, they use proxies, ghost buyers, sovereign wealth funds disguised as private equity, state-owned enterprises operating through subsidiaries in Hong Kong, Singapore, and Switzerland. We are seeing massive OTC volume spikes in Asian trading hours. 500 Bitcoin here, 1,000 Bitcoin there. These trades happen off the public order books. Sources estimate China has already swept up between 50,000 and 80,000 Bitcoin since late January. They are converting depreciating U.S. debt into appreciating digital gold. And they are doing it before the American public even realizes the race has started. But mining and buying are just defensive moves. China's offensive strategy is much more ambitious. This brings us to the digital yuan. For a decade, China has been building the most advanced central bank digital currency in the world. It is programmable, instant, and completely controlled by the CCP. But there was a fatal flaw. Here is the reality. Nobody wants the yuan. Despite efforts to internationalize the yuan, it remains less than 3% of global reserves. China tried to push it for years. They set up swap lines. They pushed it in the IMF. It failed. Why would a Brazilian merchant want a currency that Beijing can devalue overnight, or freeze if they disagree with his politics? Trust is the one thing China could not manufacture. But Trump's order gave them the solution, the missing link, the Bitcoin-backed yuan. Intelligence suggests the new strategy is to make the digital yuan redeemable. Not for gold, which is heavy and hard to transport, but for Bitcoin. Think about how this changes the game for a country like Iran or Russia. They sell oil to China. They get paid in digital yuan. Under the old system, they are stuck with useless Chinese paper. Under the new system, they can instantly convert that digital yuan into Bitcoin reserves held by the People's Bank of China. Suddenly, the digital yuan isn't just communist money. It is a proxy for Bitcoin. It becomes hard money. This solves China's trust problem. They don't need the world to trust the Communist Party. They just need the world to trust Bitcoin. By backing their currency with the asset America is trying to monopolize, China creates a competitor to the US dollar that is actually superior in quality. It is a trap, and the US economy is walking right into it. China isn't doing this alone. They are bringing the whole team. The BRICS alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now Iran and Saudi Arabia, have been desperate to de-dollarize. But they don't trust each other. India doesn't trust China. Russia doesn't trust anyone. Bitcoin is the trustless bridge. The proposal on the table is a shared strategic Bitcoin reserve. Instead of holding dollars, these nations contribute to a Bitcoin pool. This reserve backs their trade. It allows them to settle massive debts without touching the U.S. banking system. If this happens, demand for the U.S. dollar evaporates. Trillions of dollars flood back to America. Hyperinflation follows. So, what happens next? Here is the timeline of the currency war. 2025, the accumulation phase. This is the year of the shadow war. The narrative is confusion. America buys openly, signaling its intent to the world. China buys secretly, masking its volume through proxies to prevent panic buying. The result? Extreme volatility. We aren't seeing a straight line up. We are seeing a violent tug-of-war. Prices swing wildly between $80,000 and $150,000 as supply shocks hit the market. Nobody knows exactly who is buying, but the floor keeps rising. By the end of the year, the race is tied. Both superpowers are rushing to secure their initial stockpiles before the public fully wakes up. 2026. The pivot. Saudi Arabia and Russia begin accepting Bitcoin for oil. The petro-Bitcoin is born. The U.S. responds with strict capital controls, trying to ban citizens from self-custody to stop the capital flight. 2027. The bifurcation. The world splits into two financial spheres, the Western dollar bloc and the Eastern Bitcoin bloc. The dollar loses its status as the sole reserve currency. 2028. The new equilibrium. Bitcoin stabilizes, likely north of $1 million per coin. It becomes the neutral settlement layer for planet Earth. Most people watching this video are thinking about price. Will I get rich? But this is bigger than gains. This is about sovereignty. When elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. In a currency war between superpowers, the value of your labor, your savings, and your retirement is the collateral damage. The United States is betting it can control Bitcoin. China is betting it can co-opt Bitcoin. But here is the irony. Bitcoin was designed to resist both of them. The winner won't be Washington. It won't be Beijing. The winner will be the individual who holds the keys. If you hold your Bitcoin on an exchange, you are just a pawn in their war. They can freeze it. They can confiscate it. Get a hardware wallet. Take self-custody. Because when the giants collide, the only safe place is outside of their reach. I will be tracking every single move of this financial Cold War, every policy shift, every secret mining operation. If you want to survive the transition to the new monetary order, you need to be informed. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. The war has begun. Position yourself accordingly.